The Galactic Council Chamber was the largest meeting hall in the known galaxy. It was built long before humans ever discovered space travel. The ancient races designed it to hold hundreds of representatives from different worlds. The chamber was shaped like a giant circle. Rows of seats climbed higher and higher along the walls like the steps of a massive arena. Each seat belonged to a different alien civilization. Some species were tall and thin with glowing skin. Others were large and heavy, covered in thick scales or armor-like shells. A few were small, sitting inside floating chairs filled with strange liquid. At the center of the chamber stood a wide platform made of dark metal. That platform was where the most important decisions in the galaxy were made. Today, every seat in the chamber was filled. The reason was simple. Humanity, for the past 30 years, humans have been traveling across the stars, meeting other civilizations and building trade routes. They had explored dangerous space, survived strange worlds, and created alliances faster than any young species before them. Some alien races admired them. Others feared them, but many simply did not trust them. Humans had grown too fast, too bold, too unpredictable. And today, the Council would decide whether humans would become full members of the Galactic Council or not. At the highest seat above the chamber sat High Chancellor Varex. Varex belonged to an ancient reptilian species, known for their patience and long memory. His silver scales reflected the bright lights of the chamber as he slowly raised one clawed hand. The noise inside the council faded. "Bring the human delegation forward," Varex said in a deep voice. At the far end of the chamber, 3 large doors slowly opened. A quiet whisper moved through the audience. The humans had arrived. 3 figures walked into the massive hall. They looked small compared to the giant aliens around them. They wore simple diplomatic uniforms in dark blue and gray. No armor, no weapons, no guards. The man walking in front was Commander Elias Ward. Behind him walked Ambassador Lena Reyes and Dr. Kaito Tanaka. They moved calmly across the floor toward the central platform. Hundreds of alien eyes followed them. Some eyes glowed, some blinked sideways. Others watched without emotion. To many species in the chamber, humans were still strange creatures. Soft skin, only 2 arms, no claws, no fangs. And yet, they had managed to build fleets strong enough to defend their space. When the humans reached the center platform, Commander Ward stopped. He stood straight and looked around the chamber. For a moment, no one spoke. Then one alien suddenly broke the silence. A tall, insect-like representative named Crawl clicked his sharp mandibles. "These are the humans," he said loudly. "They look fragile." Several species around him made sounds of agreement. Another alien leaned forward from a seat. His skin glowed with soft blue light. "They expand too quickly," he said. "In only 30 years, they have colonized 12 star systems." A third voice echoed across the chamber. "And they build warships faster than any young species we have ever recorded." The chamber slowly filled with murmurs. Commander Ward listened quietly. He did not interrupt. He did not defend humanity. He simply waited. High Chancellor Varex finally spoke again. "The Council will now discuss humanity's request for full membership." For hours, the debate continued. Some species supported the humans. They spoke about human bravery, human creativity, and human ability to adapt to difficult environments. But many other species disagreed. "They are reckless," one council member said. "They settle planets that even experienced species avoid. They experiment with dangerous technologies," another added. "They act first and think later." The debate grew louder, but the humans still remained silent. Ambassador Reyes stood calmly with her hands behind her back. Dr. Tanaka quietly watched the alien delegates, studying their reactions. Commander Ward did not move at all. Finally, after many hours, Chancellor Varex raised his claw again. The entire chamber slowly fell silent. "The Council has reached its decision," he announced. Hundreds of alien representatives leaned forward. Even the humans looked up. Varex continued. "Humanity will not be granted full membership in the Galactic Council." Soft whispers moved through the chamber, but Varex was not finished. "However," he continued, "the Council recognizes that humanity has potential." Several council members nodded. "Therefore, Humans will be allowed to remain as junior observers under the supervision of elder species. Some aliens seemed pleased with this decision. To them, it was generous. Humans were young. They still needed guidance. Surely the human delegation would understand that. Perhaps they would protest. Perhaps they would beg for reconsideration. Many council members watched the humans carefully, waiting. But the humans did something unexpected. Commander Elias Ward slowly stood. His chair made a quiet sound as it moved across the floor. He looked around the enormous chamber. His eyes passed over hundreds of alien faces. Then he spoke. "Thank you for your time." That was all. No anger, no argument, no protest. Then he turned around and started walking toward the exit. Ambassador Reyes followed him immediately. Dr. Tanaka followed as well. For a moment, no one reacted. The entire Galactic Council simply watched as the three humans walked away. Confusion spread through the chamber. This was not the reaction they expected. Finally, Chancellor Varex stood up suddenly. "Wait," he called out. Commander Ward stopped at the large doorway, but did not turn fully around. "You have not responded to the Council's decision," Varex said. The chamber became silent again. Everyone waited. Commander Ward slowly looked back over his shoulder. His expression was calm, almost disappointed. Then he said something that made many aliens feel uneasy. "We already did." With that, the humans walked through the doorway. The massive doors closed behind them with a deep metallic sound. For several long seconds, the Galactic Council sat in complete silence. No one spoke. No one moved. Because deep inside, many of them felt the same strange thought. Something important had just happened. Something they did not fully understand yet. And somewhere far away, humanity had just made a decision that would soon change the entire galaxy. The moment the doors of the Galactic Council chamber closed behind the human delegation, the silence inside the forum fell heavy. Hundreds of alien representatives looked at one another. Some were confused. Some were annoyed. Others simply shrugged. To most of the elder species, the humans had behaved exactly as expected. Young civilizations often reacted emotionally when they were denied full council membership. Some protested loudly. Some threatened to leave the alliance. A few even tried to prove their worth through military strength. But in the end, they always returned, because the Galactic Council controlled most of the important trade routes in the galaxy. Without the Council, no civilization could easily survive. High Chancellor Varex slowly sat back down in his seat. His silver scales reflected the light of the chamber as he spoke calmly. "It appears the human delegation has chosen to leave." A large amphibian representative from the ocean. "World, the Los made a bubbling sound. They will calm down soon," he said. "They always do." Several council members agreed. Humans were known for their strong emotions. Many believed this was simply another human reaction. A few weeks would pass, perhaps a few months. Eventually the humans would send new diplomats. They would apologize, and they would accept their role as junior observers. At least, that was what everyone expected. But something strange began happening almost immediately. Only 3 days after the meeting, the first unusual report arrived. A trading guild from the Orion sector sent a message to the council. Human merchant ships had suddenly canceled multiple trade agreements. Cargo shipments were delayed. Several human trading stations were closing. At first, the council did not pay much attention. Trade disputes happened all the time. But then more reports arrived. Human ambassadors quietly left several alien homeworlds. Joint research programs were suddenly paused. Human diplomats stopped attending council advisory meetings. Even human cultural exchange missions disappeared. Within 2 weeks, something became clear. Humans were slowly withdrawing from almost every interstellar agreement connected to the Galactic Council. Still, many council members were not worried. "They are protesting," one representative said during an emergency meeting. "They want to pressure us into changing our decision." A tall crystalline alien named Sorvax shook his glowing head. "That is unlikely," he replied. "Humans rarely rely on silent protests." But even Sorvax did not yet understand what was really happening. Then the Arcturian observers made a discovery. The Arcturians were known as the best long-range sensor experts in the galaxy. Their technology could track ship movements across entire star systems. During a routine scan of human space, Arcturian scientists noticed something unusual. Human shipyards were extremely active. Hundreds of construction platforms surrounded several human planets. Massive ships were being built at incredible speed. At first, this was not alarming. Humans were known for building ships quickly, but the Arcturian scientists soon realized something strange. The ships were not warships. Most of them were colony transports, exploration vessels, long-distance supply ships, and they were leaving human territory in massive numbers. A full report was immediately sent to the Galactic Council. During the next council meeting, the Arcturian representative projected the data into the center of the chamber. A giant holographic map of human space appeared. Small lights marked the movement of hundreds of ships. Gasps spread through the chamber. "They are expanding," someone whispered. But another alien quickly noticed something even more unusual. The ships were not heading toward council space. They were heading in the opposite direction, toward the outer edge of the galaxy, toward regions that had never been fully explored. Dangerous regions filled with unstable stars, asteroid storms, and strange cosmic radiation, places that most advanced species avoided. High Chancellor Varex leaned forward. "Why would humans travel there?" he asked. The Arcturian representative answered calmly. "We believe they are building new colonies." The chamber erupted with confused voices. "That is impossible," one alien shouted. "Those regions are too dangerous. Entire fleets have been lost there." Another council member spoke nervously. "Even our exploration drones avoid those sectors." But the holographic map showed the truth clearly. Human fleets were traveling deeper into those dangerous areas every day. More ships were leaving human space. More colonies were being established. More outposts were appearing. Within only 2 months, the number of human exploration fleets had doubled. Within 4 months, it had tripled. And yet the humans still sent no messages to the Galactic Council. No complaints. No requests. No explanations. It was as if humanity had simply stopped caring about the Council completely. Finally, the Council decided to contact Earth directly. An official diplomatic message was sent. The message was simple. The Council requested clarification about human activities. Several days passed. No response. Another message was sent. Still no response. Weeks went by. Nothing. This was highly unusual. Every other civilization in the galaxy responded quickly to Council communication. Ignoring the Council was considered disrespectful. And yet the humans remained completely silent. During another emergency meeting, Chancellor Varex looked around the chamber. His voice sounded more serious than before. "Has anyone received communication from human leadership?" No one answered. Finally, the Arcturian representative spoke again. "There is something else you should see." He activated the holographic display once more. This time the map zoomed out, far beyond the borders of known space. Small human colony signals appeared like tiny stars in the darkness. Dozens of them, then hundreds. The chamber slowly became quiet. The realization began spreading through the council members. Humans were not protesting. They were not threatening the council. They were not asking for permission. They were simply leaving. Leaving the old alliances. Leaving the old systems. Leaving the council behind. And for the first time since the meeting ended, a strange and uncomfortable thought entered the minds of many ancient species. What if humanity had never truly needed the Galactic Council at all? The silence from Earth continued. Weeks turned into months, and still the Galactic Council received no reply from a human government. For many ancient civilizations, this behavior was shocking. No species had ever ignored the Council for this long. The Galactic Council had existed for thousands of years. It controlled the largest trade networks, the safest travel routes, and the most powerful alliances in the known galaxy. Most civilizations depended on it, but humanity seemed to be acting as if the Council did not exist at all. High Chancellor Varex called another emergency meeting. The chamber filled once again with representatives from hundreds of worlds. But this time, The atmosphere felt very different from the last meeting. There was tension in the air, concern, even fear. The Arcturian observers had continued monitoring human space. Their newest report was even more surprising than the last one. Human activity had increased dramatically. New shipyards were appearing around several human systems. Massive construction platforms floated near distant stars. Entire fleets of colony ships continued traveling toward the unexplored edge of the galaxy. But something else was different now. Human military vessels were traveling with them. The Arcturian representative activated the large holographic map again. The chamber lights dimmed as thousands of glowing points appeared across the display. These signals represent confirmed human fleets, the Arcturian said calmly. Gasps spread across the chamber. The number was far larger than anyone expected. One council member leaned forward nervously. How long have they been building this many ships? The Arcturian replied, according to our calculations, for several years. A murmur of unease moved through the chamber. Several years? That meant humanity had been expanding quietly even before the council meeting. But why? A tall crystalline delegate named Sorvac spoke carefully. Perhaps humans predicted this outcome. Some council members immediately protested. That is impossible. They could not have known our decision. But Sorvax remained calm. Humans are known for planning far ahead. High Chancellor Varex slowly tapped his claw against his chair. Regardless of their plans, we still require an explanation, he said. We will send a direct diplomatic envoy to Earth. This decision was approved quickly. The Council selected a respected delegation made of several powerful species. Their mission was simple: travel to Earth, speak directly with human leadership, and demand answers. The envoy ships departed immediately. Their journey to the Sol system took several days. As they approached Earth, their sensors detected something unusual. Human space traffic was extremely busy. Freighters, exploration ships, construction vessels, and patrol fleets moved constantly between planets and stations. But none of them seemed interested in the arriving council ships. The envoy vessels requested permission to land. A short automated message answered them. Council representatives are not authorized to enter Earth orbit at this time. The alien diplomats stared at the message in disbelief. One of them sent another transmission. This is an official Galactic Council delegation requesting diplomatic contact. The reply came quickly. The message has been received. Nothing else followed. The communication channel went silent. The council envoys waited for several hours, then several more hours. But no human diplomats arrived. No leaders appeared. No explanations were given. Finally, a small object appeared on the radar screens. A single probe slowly approached the envoy ships. It carried no weapons, no engines. It simply drifted toward them. Curious, the diplomats allowed it to connect with their communication systems. A holographic image suddenly appeared inside the envoy command room. Commander Elias Ward stood on the screen, the same human who had spoken at the council chamber. His expression looked calm, just as it had before, but this time his eyes seemed more distant, more focused. He spoke slowly and clearly. We received your request for communication. The alien diplomats waited for him to continue. Ward looked directly at the camera. For many years, humanity tried to cooperate with the Galactic Council. Images began appearing beside him. Human diplomats shaking hands with alien leaders. Human ships delivering supplies to struggling colonies. Human scientists working with alien researchers. We believe the Council represented unity. Ward continued. We believe the galaxy could grow stronger if civilizations worked together. The images changed again. This time they showed council meetings, long debates, arguments between species, political negotiations that lasted for years. But over time we learned something important. Ward paused. The council does not value cooperation. It values control. The diplomats shifted uncomfortably. Ward continued speaking. When humanity requested equal membership, we hoped the council would see us as partners. He looked directly into the camera again. But instead you offered supervision. Another pause followed. Then Ward said the words that would echo across the galaxy. So humanity made a decision. The screen behind him showed massive human fleets traveling through deep space, new colonies rising on distant planets, exploration vessels entering unknown star systems. "We will build our future without permission." The diplomats stared silently. Ward's voice remained calm. "We wish the Council no harm, but we will no longer depend on it." The hologram flickered slightly. Then Ward added one final sentence. "The message you are watching now is the only explanation humanity will provide." The screen suddenly went dark. The probe disconnected and slowly drifted away. Inside the Envoy command room, no one spoke. After a long moment, one of the diplomats whispered something quietly. "They are not leaving in anger." Another replied with growing concern. "No, they are leaving in independence." And for the first time since humanity walked out of the council chamber, the ancient races of the galaxy began to realize something frightening. Humanity had not been rejected by the Galactic Council. Humanity had simply decided it did not need the Council anymore. After the message from Commander Elias Ward reached the Galactic Council, the chamber remained quiet for a long time. Many representatives stared at the dark holographic screen. Some were angry, some were confused, but most of them were thinking about the same thing. Humanity had chosen to walk its own path. For thousands of years, every civilization that reached space eventually joined the Galactic Council. It was simply how the galaxy worked. The Council created stability. It managed trade routes. It prevented wars. No species had ever decided to completely step away from it. Until now, High Chancellor Varex slowly rose from his seat. His silver scales reflected the dim chamber lights as he looked around at the gathered delegates. "Humanity has made its position clear," he said. "They wish to expand without council guidance." A large armored alien from the warlike Draxian species spoke next. "That is foolish," the Draxian growled. "The outer regions of the galaxy are dangerous. Even our strongest fleets avoid those sectors." Several other representatives nodded. The unexplored frontier was known for its dangers: unstable stars, violent asteroid storms, strange radiation fields, and in some regions, mysterious signals that no one had ever fully understood. Entire exploration fleets had vanished there in the past. It was not a place where civilizations built homes. Yet the Arcturian observers continued sending updates, and each report made the Council more uneasy. Human activity in the frontier was increasing rapidly. New colonies appeared almost every month. Mining stations were built inside dangerous asteroid belts. Research outposts were placed near unstable stars. And human ships traveled deeper into unknown space than any species had ever attempted before. At first, many council members believed the humans would fail. "Young species are always overconfident," one elder delegate said. "They will lose ships. They will lose colonies. And eventually they will return to the safety of the council." But the months passed, then the years, and the expected disaster never came. Instead, the opposite began happening. Human colonies were surviving, even in places where survival seemed impossible. One Arcturian report described a human settlement built on a frozen world where temperatures dropped far below safe levels. Another report showed a mining city constructed inside a massive moving asteroid. The humans had even built an orbital station near a star known for dangerous solar storms. Most species avoided such locations completely, but humans seemed comfortable there. The council watched in disbelief. "How are they doing this?" one delegate asked during a meeting. The Arcturian representative answered calmly. "Humans adapt quickly. They redesign their technology to survive extreme conditions. They change their colonies to match their environment." The crystalline delegate Sorvax added quietly, "Humans do not wait for perfect worlds. They make worlds work for them." As the years continued, another change became clear. Human technology was improving faster than before. Their ships became stronger. Their engines became faster. Their defensive systems became more advanced. Even their scientific discoveries began spreading across the frontier. Several independent alien traders who visited the new human colonies returned with surprising stories. They described cities filled with people from many worlds. Apparently, humans were welcoming other species who wished to leave council space. Some were small traders looking for opportunity. Some were scientists searching for freedom. Others were entire colonies of species that felt ignored by the Council. Slowly, something new was forming in the frontier. Not an empire, not a military alliance, but a loose network of independent systems connected by human trade routes. It became known simply as a human frontier. At first, the Council ignored it, but then an unexpected problem appeared. Several important trade routes near Council territory began changing. Merchants started traveling toward the human frontier instead. Why? Because the humans offered something unusual. Freedom to trade without heavy Council regulations. Freedom to explore new systems. Freedom to build new colonies without waiting for approval. For many smaller civilizations, this sounded very attractive. A worried representative from the Merchant Guild spoke during a council meeting. Our trade traffic has decreased by 12%, he reported. Many traders now travel to human frontier markets. The chamber filled with concerned whispers. Trade was the lifeblood of the Galactic Council. If that began shifting, the balance of power in the galaxy could slowly change. High Chancellor Varex remained calm, but inside, he felt a growing concern. Humanity was no longer just a young species exploring space. They were building something new, something outside the control of the ancient powers. Years passed. The frontier continued expanding. Human exploration fleets mapped new stars. New colonies appeared deeper in unknown space, and the population of the frontier continued growing. Then the Arcturians delivered a report that shocked the entire council. Their long-range sensors had detected a massive human fleet traveling through deep frontier space. But this was not a colony fleet. It was a military formation, hundreds of ships, all moving together. Their destination was unknown. The council chamber fell silent as the holographic map displayed the fleet's movement. One nervous delegate whispered, "Are they preparing for war?" But Sorvax shook his crystal head slowly. "No," he said. "If humans wanted war, they would have stayed here." Another council member asked the question everyone was thinking. Then what are they preparing for? The answer came from the Arcturian sensors again. Their scans had detected something unusual beyond the human fleet's destination. Something massive, something moving through deep space, something that no known civilization had ever encountered before. The Arcturian representative looked around the silent chamber. His voice was quiet. "Our sensors are detecting a large, unidentified swarm approaching the outer regions of the galaxy." A ripple of unease moved through the council. "Define swarm," Chancellor Varex ordered. The Arcturian hesitated for a moment. Then he answered, "Thousands of biological ships. They appear to be consuming entire star systems." The chamber erupted with alarm. Ancient civilizations that had survived for thousands of years suddenly felt something they had not felt in a very long time: fear, and far beyond council space. The human frontier fleets were already moving to meet the coming darkness. The news spread to the Galactic Council faster than any message before it. An unknown swarm was approaching the galaxy, thousands of living ships, moving together like a giant wave through the darkness of space. And according to the Arcturian sensors, the swarm was not exploring. It was consuming. Entire star systems were disappearing behind it. Planets, moons, asteroid fields, everything. Nothing was left except empty space and scattered dust. At first, many council members refused to believe the report. Such a creature or group of creatures had never been recorded in galactic history. High Chancellor Varex ordered every scientific archive to be searched. Ancient records from forgotten civilizations were examined. Old sensor data from deep space probes was studied again. But the result was always the same. No one had ever seen anything like this before. The council gave the unknown threat a name: the devouring swarm. Within days, the first emergency fleets were sent to investigate. A powerful battle group from the Draxian Empire traveled to the outer regions of the galaxy. The Draxians were famous for their strength in battle. Their ships were heavily armored and equipped with some of the strongest weapons known. If anyone could stop the swarm, many believed it would be them. Several council representatives gathered in the main chamber to watch the live sensor feed. from the Draxian fleet. The holographic display showed dozens of warships moving through deep space. Their weapons were fully powered. Their shields were active. Everything seemed ready. Then the swarm appeared. At first it looked like a dark cloud moving through the stars. But as the sensors zoomed closer, the council members realized the truth. The cloud was made of thousands of massive organic ships. Each one looked like a giant creature floating in space. Some had long, tentacle-like arms. Others had thick armored shells. Many moved in strange patterns that no artificial machine could easily copy. And they were huge, larger than most warships. The Draxian fleet opened fire immediately. Bright beams of energy flashed across the darkness. Explosions filled the sensor display. Several swarm creatures were destroyed, but the swarm did not slow down. More creatures moved forward. They surrounded the Draxian ships from every direction. The council watched in silence as the battle quickly turned into chaos. Some swarm creatures slammed into the warships like living missiles. Others released clouds of smaller organisms that attacked the ship's engines and weapons. Within minutes, the first Draxian cruiser exploded. Then another, and another. The battle lasted less than 15 minutes. When the sensor feed ended, the entire Draxian fleet was gone. The council chamber was silent. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy's most powerful war fleet had been destroyed so easily. Fear began spreading quickly. More fleets were sent. A combined armada made of ships from many civilizations gathered near the frontier. Hundreds of vessels, battleships, carrier ships, defense platforms. The council believed that together they could stop the swarm. But the second battle ended almost the same way as the first. The swarm was too large, too fast, too strange. Energy weapons burned many of the creatures, but more always came forward. Missiles destroyed dozens, yet hundreds still advanced. And the living ships seemed to learn quickly. They began avoiding heavy fire zones. They targeted command ships first. They attacked weak points in the defensive formations. Within an hour, the combined fleet was forced to retreat. Several systems near the outer edge of the galaxy were abandoned. Civilian evacuation fleets filled the space lanes. Panic spread across dozens of worlds. For thousands of years, the Galactic Council had protected the galaxy from war and chaos. But now something had appeared that even the Council could not stop. During another emergency meeting, the chamber felt very different from before. Many representatives looked tired. Others looked frightened. The Arcturian sensors continued tracking the swarm, and the reports were not improving. The swarm was moving deeper into the galaxy, system by system, world by world. If nothing stopped it, billions of lives could be lost. Finally, a small voice spoke from one of the lower seats in the chamber. It belonged to a representative from a small trading species called the Volari. "What about the humans?" he asked quietly. The chamber became still. Some council members looked uncomfortable. Others frowned. High Chancellor Varex slowly turned his head. "The humans chose to leave the council," he said. The Volari representative nodded nervously. "Yes, but they have the largest fleets in the frontier now." Another delegate added, "And their colonies are closest to the swarm's path." For a moment, no one spoke. Many council members remembered the last words of Commander Elias Ward. "We will build our future without permission." The council had rejected humanity. Humanity had walked away. Now the galaxy was facing a disaster. It could not stop. Sorvax, the crystalline delegate, spoke carefully. "Humans are unpredictable, but they're also very good at surviving dangerous situations." Another representative added quietly, "And they were already moving fleets toward the frontier before we even discovered the swarm." That detail caused another ripple of uneasy whispers. Had the humans seen the threat first? Had they already prepared for it? High Chancellor Varex slowly stood. For the first time since the crisis began, his voice carried uncertainty. "Prepare a diplomatic message," he said, "to human space." The chamber watched him carefully. Varex continued, "The Galactic Council requests assistance." Those words had never been spoken before. The Council had never needed help from a younger civilization, but the situation had changed. A message was sent toward the human frontier. Then the Council waited. Minutes passed. Hours passed. Days passed. No reply came. And as the devouring swarm continued moving deeper into the galaxy, the ancient races of the Council began to wonder if humanity would answer at all. The message from the Galactic Council traveled across space toward the human frontier. It passed through dozens of star systems, across deep exploration routes, beyond the old borders of Council territory. For the first time in thousands of years, the most powerful alliance in the galaxy was asking for help. But the answer did not come immediately. Days passed, then a full week. Inside the council chamber, tension grew stronger with each passing hour. The devouring swarm continued moving deeper into the galaxy. Several outer colonies had already been lost. Evacuation fleets crowded the space lanes as millions of civilians fled toward safer systems. Many council members began to worry. What if the humans refused to help? After all, the council had rejected them. The council had treated them like an immature species that needed supervision. Now those same leaders were asking for assistance. Some representatives quietly wondered if humanity would simply watch from a distance as the old powers struggled. But High Chancellor Varex refused to give up hope. Humans value survival, he told the council. If the swarm continues advancing, their frontier will eventually be threatened as well. Sorvax, the crystalline delegate, added another thought. Humans also value choices. What they do next will be their decision alone. Another week passed. Then, suddenly, the Arcturian sensor network detected something unusual. Long-range scanners began registering massive energy signals near the edge of the frontier. At first, the readings were unclear. The signals were too large to belong to normal fleets, too organized to be natural phenomena. The Arcturian scientists quickly focused their sensors. When the full image appeared on the holographic display, the entire council chamber gasped. Hundreds of ships were emerging from deep space. Human ships. But they did not look like the old designs the council remembered. These vessels were larger, much larger. Their hulls were darker and smoother, shaped like powerful predators moving through the stars. Bright energy lines glowed along their sides. Massive weapon systems rotated slowly across their surfaces. Even their engines looked different, leaving long trails of blue light behind them. This was not the small fleet that had once walked into the council chamber. This was something else entirely, a massive armada. At the center of the formation, one ship stood out above the rest. It was enormous, nearly 3 times the size of a normal battleship. The Arcturian sensors identified it as the fleet's command vessel. Moments later, a communication signal reached the council chamber. The screen in the center of the forum activated. Commander Elias Ward appeared again, but he looked older now. His hair showed a few gray lines. His uniform carried new insignia. Behind him, large windows showed the endless stars of deep space. For several seconds, no one spoke. Then Ward finally broke the silence. "We receive your message." His voice was calm, just as it had been years earlier. High Chancellor Varex stepped forward. "The galaxy faces a threat we cannot defeat alone," he said. "We request humanity's assistance." Ward studied the council representatives quietly. The chamber waited. Some aliens looked nervous. Others looked ashamed. Finally, Ward nodded slowly. "We are aware of the devouring swarm. That sentence surprised many delegates." "You already knew about it?" one of them asked. Ward answered calmly. "Our frontier explorers discovered the swarm several years ago." A wave of whispers moved across the chamber. Several years? That meant humanity had known about the threat long before the council. Ward continued speaking. "When humanity left the council, we began exploring deeper regions of space. Our explorers encountered the swarm near the edge of the galaxy. The screen behind him displayed images from human sensor records. Giant organic ships moving through darkness. Entire star systems disappearing. We understood the danger immediately," Ward said, "so we began preparing." The image shifted again. Massive human shipyards appeared. Fleets being constructed, weapons tested, defensive technologies developed. For years, humanity had been building the fleet now floating before the council. Not for conquest, not for war against other species, but for survival. Ward looked directly at the council leaders. You believed humans were reckless. You believe we moved too quickly. He paused. But sometimes moving quickly is the only way to survive. High Chancellor Varex lowered his head slightly. Then you will help us? He asked. Ward did not answer immediately. Instead, he looked around the chamber. Hundreds of alien representatives watched him. Years earlier, they had judged humanity as immature and unpredictable. Now the future of the galaxy depended on them. Finally, Ward spoke again. Humanity does not fight for approval. We fight to protect life. He gestured behind him. The massive fleet began forming battle formations. Weapons powered up. Engines glowed brighter. Our fleet will engage the swarm, Ward said. But understand something clearly. The chamber listened carefully. Humanity no longer belongs to the Galactic Council. We stand beside the galaxy, not beneath it. Chancellor Varex nodded slowly. That is understood. Ward gave a small, respectful nod in return. Then the communication ended. Moments later, the human fleet accelerated toward the frontier, toward the approaching devouring swarm. The council watched the holographic display as the armada disappeared into deep space. For the first time since the crisis began, hope returned to the chamber. Sorvax, the crystalline delegate, spoke quietly. Humans did not need the council. He paused. But the galaxy may need humanity. High Chancellor Varex looked at the stars on the display. Somewhere out there, human fleets were already moving to face the greatest threat the galaxy had ever known. And this time, they were not asking for permission.